reschedule it.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Give them a little bit of a chance. All right. Oh, we got questions right off the bat. Here we go. From SIP, will the pot stabilize in the long term?
I mean, our goal is actually to not have the pot stabilize. Our goal is to have the pot be as big as it possibly can be. So, it's just going to be commensurate with the number of players that play that particular game and the number of matches they play, because those are the inputs into that really drive that really drive the pot. And so, that mechanism hasn't changed. It's just the way in which it gets funded is what has changed. And so, our belief is that, by removing the requirement to commit your own AB into the game, that many more of the casual players will play beyond, what the challenges may require them to do, or they may actually get some confidence and actually learn how to play the game and understand the patterns and a lot of the things that many of the, many of the experienced players play. I'm sorry, I'm just like reading when our landmarks coming soon.
So much, yes. All right. So from Sir Corelli, can we not watch an ad when the matchmaking fails?
Yes, we're going to work on that. That is a logged bug. It's happened to me. Yes.
Happened to me on Sunday.
Yes. We are tracking that, and I don't know exactly when it's going to get fixed, but we are aware of that, and it's our intent to remediate that.
And yes, when are landmarks coming?
So
Helpbot was trying to help us with that one. Let's see here. Yeah, I hope people ask after landmarks have been launched. When are they coming? When are more coming? Absolutely. Well, you had said on Sunday we don't have a date for that, correct?
that's correct.
Yes. Is this a trial run for the changes to the mini games, or is this a permanent thing, depending on feedback from the community?
This is permanent. You should view this as permanent. Our just like when we launched challenges at the end of October last year, there was a lot of resistance to the difficulty and the clogging of the feed, and I think from the day that we launched that and we got that feedback, we heard it, but we also don't have a tendency to overact to one piece of feedback or one data point. And over the course of 2 months, which is exactly what we said we would do, we followed the patterns, followed the data, and then optimized the system. And I think everybody's happy with where that ended up. And I wouldn't view, that methodical approach to how we introduce things and also how we change things is a pattern that you should expect to see from us.
Some of the ads are over 5 seconds, and I know that was not the intent when you started. They're checking to see if anybody else has experienced it. I've seen people experiencing it. I don't know if I experienced it myself, but I also didn't pay attention.
Yeah. I think, listen, we need to dig into exactly. I've experienced it myself where at 5 seconds you get the X and then you get another one and a second or two later. And so net is probably 7, 8, 9 seconds sometimes. So I have experienced that. This is a new ad format for us. So we like you are still learning. I don't have an answer around what that's going to be, but in the whole spirit of this is a new thing. We're all going to learn, and I would say probably explicitly saying it's only ever going to be 5 seconds was probably not the best way to describe it.
But that was the end.
They're significantly shorter, and the payouts. The payouts from a compensation standpoint, which ends up funding the pot, are significantly less than a normal ad that you experience when you boost or you do an ad in the shop or do an ad for a wheel spin.
When are other mini games coming?
Soon.
Yeah. I know Sunday we had talked about possibly June, maybe.
Well, so rock paper scissors is very close.
Yeah.
Rock paper scissors is very close, but I would keep your eye on the events tab. That will be probably the first signal of when it's going to be out there.
Is it fair to say that these changes, like the challenges you've mentioned, are a positive indicator of the health of the game?
Yeah, I would say, as far as like economically, Like this is a neutral change for us. Like so, I would view this as us being very player aware of exactly what some of the frustrations that they have with our current minigame system. And the biggest inhibitor to actually growing minigames is the fact that I, as a new player, don't know how to do Racer, or don't, I'll pick a harder one. I don't know how to do Warship, and
I
I'm
still know how to do Warship, but I've been playing it
I'm a
for a
new
while.
player, and I've got 10 AB, and I'm not going to figure out Warship in 5 matches. And yeah, with a mulligan, you can kind of get a little bit, you can make your stuff back, but it's just at some point, it's just it's a big inhibitor to growth. And actually, if you look at the data, obviously I haven't had a chance to look at what USA ended up doing today, but I will tonight. It's like massive increase in player as far as the number of players actually gave, and actually a 60% increase on Sunday of matches in the U.S. 60. That's a huge number.
That is a huge number.
And so when you go back to think about what we're trying to do, which is really de-risk the act of playing, get call it the more casual players, build their confidence, improve their willingness to come back to a minigame, a willingness to go deeper and actually compete for something like top 500 without any risk of their own AB. It's really engineered. And actually, we've gone back and looked at the data. If you go top 101 to top 500 in every market, they got more net payout on an average basis. Now, where does that come from? Well, because the pots are smaller, because the advertising only 2 AB is in the US, so actually international was being very much like favored in the old system in a way, but relative to what it is that we're doing now. And so I think the thing to understand is, yes, if you're top 100, you have been feasting off of these new players for a long time. And
Has anyone?
and that party's probably a little bit over, and it's okay. You're still going to make a lot of AB. It's just not as much as you used to make. But you know what's going to make you get back to where you used to make and actually get more? Is we get more players involved. So actually, the actions that we're taking and your skill at competing at the top of the leaderboard in minigames, like this is going to benefit you over the long term. Because actually, the thing that's hard to probably for everybody to see, because you don't see the data the way in which we see the data, is actually your dominance and that skew in the payout system today is actually the thing that's like causing this thing not to grow.
Has anyone ever won a tiebreaker? Yes, I've seen people win tiebreakers. I'm going to answer that one right away. How many new mini games do you guys plan on releasing?
47.
Seriously?
No, that's a joke.
I was going to say, that would be awesome.
We've got 2 on the roadmap that we published, and at that point, I'm not really going to comment anymore on that. But listen, we have a good stable of mini games, and I think we're But if you look at the 2 new mini games that we've added, they are not mini games that are of the same style and structure of the mini games that exist today. Because again, what are we trying to do? We're trying to diversify and attract casual players or players that maybe aren't into this PvP kind of competition in the same way around time and skill, or other types of skills, I guess is probably a more generous way to say that. And so that's very intentional. The more people that play the game, the more people that compete, the more people that do these things, the more all of the players prosper.
Will the minigame time frame ever be increased? Maybe to increase the prize pot from 2 hours weekdays and 3 on Sunday?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Like, I try to avoid evers and nevers unless it's about the feed.
Let's see here, scrolling. Yeah. And we have I love your game, by the way. Let's see here. Are you all going to add another day during the week when you add another game or add it to the rotation?
Listen, we have been pretty rigid in the current structure. I would say with the advent of new mini games and the ability to fund them in this way, it opens up a whole set of world of possibilities. And I'm not going to comment on what that might look like because we're still thinking through what that might be. But just assume that the current structure is not how it's always going to be. And the good news is we have this amazing events tab. You're going to see all of it there. And I think there's going to be, over time, more opportunities for people to compete and participate throughout the week.
Are there any plans to rework how ties in the games? Rework how ties work? Wow, if I could. Are there any plans to rework how ties work in games like bowling and fishing?
I would say that's not like a big focus of ours.
All right. Let's see here.
And
What
just so people
happens?
know, the way that works is it's like first person to the number. And it might be millisecond difference. You might not be able to see it, but the server sees it.
What happens when participation decreases again? Does the top still make a massive profit while 101 to 500 get next to nothing?
No.
It's easy enough. Oh, I saw a post on Reddit about being able to see other players in game, like another player's avatar walk by you. I
Um,
know. I know that was something that was accidental in the beginning, right?
yeah, I'm pretty sure that doesn't happen. But if someone has a screen grab, please send it to me and we'll investigate it. But I'm pretty sure that for privacy reasons, that's not something that happens.
We have an idea. Atlas Reality creates their own ad network that would help solve some of the problems player bases had on ads, as all the ads would be pre-screened by AE. Then you'd get a revenue from the ads because the ad networks still take money from. That's interesting. But that would be
Yeah,
a lot of.
I mean, in the lifespan of the company, that might be in the realm of possibility. But like the degree of difficulty in which to build that, source that, like you're talking orders of magnitude greater than everything that we've already done to date. So just be aware that like that's not a thing we're working on right now. But down the road. But and I think you just guys need to understand we have 9 networks in a real-time auction bidding for every single one of those impressions. It's a very sophisticated piece of technology. And so and oh, by the way, the number of different ads that get displayed in our game on any given day is somewhere between 25 and 30,000 different ads.
Holy
So
cow.
having a human screen those things, that's obviously a massive effort to do that. So it's a great thing on a piece of paper, but actually, if you choose to go execute it, I'm not saying we won't someday, but right now, gosh, that is not a focus of ours.
Would you guys be willing to add a mini games practice tab where players can work on their skills? I know it doesn't matter as much anymore since mini games are now free, but newer players could possibly still benefit.
Yeah, I mean, I think we at some point in time we've like pondered that, but I would say now with this new system, there's really no need for it.
We have a player asking if it's okay if they join the chat part. I know we had intended it to be just us, but that's up to you. If
I'm sorry, who's
PMT wants to know if they can speak, I have to allow it.
sorry, speak. Yeah, but just like I don't want to turn this into like some big debate because like this is here to answer questions, not to have like some crossfire type debate. So if
Okay.
if it goes in that direction, we're going to shut it down.
Okay, give me just a minute. I have to remember how to do that. There we go. Hello, hello.
Hi, I'm just gonna make this quick. So I think what you guys are doing is good because I personally think it's good for challenges.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, I just wanted to say that it's good to have these free events that you can sort of use for challenges without having to commit to paying Atlas bucks all the time. So I think this is a good change regarding that. So that's all I had to say.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. And we believe for the I'm assuming most of the people here in this chat are pretty
Hmm.
pretty invested minigame players. Because like everybody else is super stoked about this. You guys are the ones that are the most like, oh shit, what the hell? But I think if you go back to the step function change, you saw minigame participation and pot size when we introduced challenges, right? I think we all like good enough math people to see what power challenges have in driving adoption of minigames. Know that lever still exists, and we will continue to utilize that, and we'll be able to do it in a much more powerful way now that there is really no cost to a player, And so, and thinking through ways in which to make sure there's more persistent engagement throughout the month, as opposed to people finishing in the first 10 days and things like that. So, like we are going to. Continue to experiment with this, but the goal remains the same. The strategic intent behind this is to get as many players playing as possible and going as deep as possible and driving the prize pots as high as possible, but doing it in a way that is sustainable for everybody and doesn't turn casual players off. And that was the flaw of the old method. And we're going to call it the retired method, just so that we're really clear in our language.
Okay. That's all I have to say. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate the feedback.
All right. So Ethelfred said he finished 56th and first. So 56th in country and first in state, I believe, in England. His return was about the profit from top 25 first prior to the change. He sees it as a win. So that's good that internationally, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I think that's and I mean the data that I see also suggests that if the impact again is like top 100 on the U.S. leaderboard, and probably the line is a little bit different in each country based on just the number of players that they have. But yeah.
Do we still plan on doing long games, 3+ hours, or are they discontinued now?
No, I mean we did one yesterday on Sunday. So
I think they mean the more than 3-hour ones, like the marathons
more
you
than
guys had.
three. I mean, I'm not gonna. I mean, it's been a long time since we did more than a 3-hour one. So, again, I'm not going to go into the land of like never or ever here, but yeah. So there's really no need to really answer that.
Will we ever have the same multiple minigame events in the same day? You had originally planned on doing it, but had dropped it. Apparently, it was before my time.
I mean, listen. I think we've had lots of grand ideas that many of those beliefs still exist when we started working on these things, and again, I tried not to answer never or ever questions.
Right.
But those are things that are likely within the realm of possibility, but I'm not going to comment on when and how.
Out of curiosity, what about the inactive players that they've heard will soon be implemented, like removing them from the game or doing the rent adjustment?
Oh, I mean, so I think I've been pretty transparent about this. When we updated the terms of service in October of last year, we carved out the right to do so because we actually legally did not have the right to do so. Have we enacted that or executed it? We have not.
All right, give me just a second here. Let me.
And if you're gonna ask me
Unping.
when, you're asking me when, I'm going to give you my date around when, which is either soon, but this one's not soon, or we don't do dates.
Another idea, when you guys do the survey bonus event and arcade bonus event, have an ad watching event, like where each 20-minute ad watch for 48 hours will equal 3 Atlas bucks.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're crossing revenue streams there that don't talk to each other. So yeah, it's a cute idea, but I don't think that's a thing that we would pursue.
All right, let's see here. Let's see here. It may have been answered already, but this payout seems to be drastically lower with the new system. Is there a reason for it?
Maybe needs a new pair of shoes. I don't know, man. Go read the Reddit. Like, this session is not to explain everything that's changed. Go read the last 3 days of this server. All of it's there.
Speaking of which, are there any plans to make minigames last around 1.5 times or 2 times longer? Example where fishing game can go from a max of 17 fishes to 30 seconds to 25 fishes in 45 seconds to decrease the risk of ties happening.
I don't see how that decreases the risk of ties, but I wouldn't expect any major configuration changes to any of the minigames.
All right, let's see here. Scrolling. Joe's doing a really good job moderating the chat because I'm a few minutes behind. What are your top 3 focuses at the moment that are being implemented next?
I mean, like, go look at our roadmap. I mean, I think we've been very clear. We do a country a month, so obviously we have another country coming up in a few weeks. We have community feed, which is far along, but and then we have rock paper scissors. Those are things that are coming. Those are focus areas. I'll leave it at that.
So we have a player saying that they felt like having skin in the game made the mini games much better.
Yeah,
It's like paying the AB versus the.
yeah. I would say the data suggests something different.
Let's see here. Scrolling to a question. Will you be implementing mini games that can be played periodically over the course of a day instead of dedicating an hour to it? Like one round every 20 minutes throughout the day?
Um,
Maybe.
I, that's
I
like a
think it'd be
very.
cool.
It's an incredibly specific hypothetical, so I don't know.
I think it'd be really cool. You could
I
potentially
mean,
play anybody from anywhere.
yeah. I mean, listen, we're gonna play with this stuff, especially if we get confident in the ability to drive more casual player adoption.
Mhm.
And so I think you'll see. And not trying to be coy here, but I just don't want people to like take everything so literally because that has an occasion to happen. So, you know, just assume because the way it is today, and this is not to erode confidence, this is actually to build confidence. Just assume just because the way it is today is not to be the way it's going to be tomorrow. Our intention here is to use mini games as a way that's a profit pool for players to earn more AB because everything we've done is really about how do we create the opportunity to earn more AB and do it in an economically and financially sustainable way. And then at the same time, get as many players as possible engaged in it. And so we have levers. We have new games. We have time of day. We have geography. We have structure. We've just made a big structure change. And that structure, we believe, is for the benefit of more engagement, higher profit for players. And actually, if you look at the facts, it is absolutely higher profit for players, except for the top 100. And you know what? We're not trying to take anything away from everybody. And actually, objectively, we've taken nothing away from anybody because the profit that you think you might have lost, it didn't actually exist because the only thing that existed is what you played today. And so, and if you got top 100, you got a nice payout. And it may not be what you got last week, but it's still a good payout. And over the long term, that payout is gonna get much better as we actually achieve the goals and do the things that we set out to do.
As more people begin to play mini games, will you add more price tiers between 101 and 500 plus?
Um, I would say likely it will be more down than up. So 500 plus as opposed to rejiggering 100 to 500. And
Yeah, I
again,
think that's what they had meant. Yeah,
yeah,
because
okay, got it.
we had somebody else asking a very similar question.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, listen, those are like, don't take that as like gospel. Um, but we are going to watch the data for a while. There's lots of moving pieces. There's lots of variability on time of day, which game it is, and so to get a good set of data points, you actually need to run this for about 45 days.
How does somebody become a beta tester again? Do you still have beta testers?
Yeah, that's not a thing we do.
All right. Any chance on adding an in-game Atlas Buck casino?
No,
Easy enough.
just like the
Uh,
loot box and all, like there's all kinds of regulatory issues and different geographies, and there's a ton of fun stuff we can do. But like something that resembles gambling, it presents a whole bunch of problems in certain markets.
Someone's very intentionally trying to crawl out of bed. Okay. You see the little head at the bottom. Um, joining late, sorry if it's been asked. Is there any chance we would do extra AB for the 20-minute ad for Explorer Club members? For example, a global player could increase to 2 AB and US to 3.
No.
Okay. Let's see.
And I don't mean to be so short about that, but like the thing I think most of you appreciate about what we do is we are very focused on sustainability of the model. And so we are going to be very disciplined about that. And that kind of decision would be a very undisciplined decision.
Player wants to know if there's any way we can have a survey to see if people would rather have a pay-to-play minigame, or is Atlas making too much from ad revenue to consider that?
Well, that's a cynical question. This is not going to be a survey-driven product development decision.
All right, let's see here.
But if we did, I promise you it would be the thing that we're doing now. Because you have all of the masses of the people, the casual players. And so,
Right.
but that's not, but we don't want a secularization that that's how we do product development here.
Right.
We built this game, Sami like has envisioned this thing, Bo has built this thing, Morgan has built this thing, and like we haven't really missed a step. And so I think you need to trust that like this is going to continue to go in that direction. And I would be actually, if we started sending out a bunch of surveys asking about features, like I would be worried. View that as a signal of us actually not knowing where we're going.
Right. A biggest issue with the new minigame build is that ads are just annoying. They're not 5 seconds, which I know you said is being worked on. But watching 20 minutes of ads over the course of the event is simply way less enjoyable than paying the 2 Atlas bucks ever was.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I mean, listen, ads are a big part of this game, so I don't really have much to say about that.
If this new system is permanent, it feels like there's too much time spent watching ads. Understandable if the ads are a little longer than expected. Someone else though prefers the ad stuff, as they don't like spending the Atlas bucks on the minigames, knowing it could be below profit.
Yes,
I know I personally was always in the negative every minigame.
That would be the majority opinion, by the way. Like,
is it possible to place the ads before the start of the minigame? Therefore, if a player knows that they're lost, they can't. Oh, it scrolled on me. Hang on. We have like 100 and something chats, and it scrolled on me. I think that way if they know that they lost, they can try again. But
yeah, we like the structure that we've chosen. So we're not really evaluating putting them at the front. If you want to know why, I've explained it in the general chat somewhere over the last couple of days. You can find it there.
Oh, found it. Yes. So they can close the app instead of waiting around, also to prevent a violation of the term of service. So in the front versus at the end. I can understand.
Yeah. There's all kinds of complexity that creates, and it's not going to. The terms of service thing is like we got that covered. So I appreciate you thinking to us about that, but we've got a good solution for that.
This is a question for people who are very far along. The player has 285 parcels, 12 badges, and only spent like $40 in the beginning and started December 3rd. Is it a good pace? I think it is, personally.
Oh, I'm.
But everybody's pace is different.
Yeah, everybody's pace is different. There's a lot of like very powerful, strong players here who, in tools, whether it be the calculator or whether it be, some of the guides. And, I would say if you want like an assessment, kind of post it into number crunching or some of the other channels here. And I think people will give you good feedback, or Reddit is also good for that too. Yeah. So, I mean, we have a tendency to not try to like guide people to optimal gameplay because we believe everyone should play the way that they want to play. So as a company, we don't really comment on that.
All right. So, not sure if it was asked before, but would people be able to pay 2 Atlas bucks to play without ads? Joe did moderate because we're a few minutes behind, and said that you would not have both builds at once.
Correct.
Yes. Yeah, he's found that I'm a little behind. Let's see here. Let's see what we got here. Is this a, is this a permanent thing or for mini games, or is it a possibility it would go back?
Um, I mean, again, I try not to do evers and nevers. It's
Mhm.
not like we deleted the old code, but we are viewing this as retired.
So thank you very much, Zombie Viking. I'm going to take that in consideration. He had a thought for the next AMA we do. Have a mod in the chat dedicated to feeding me the questions in a private chat. That way I don't have to keep up with the chat or worry about scrolling because I currently have 153 messages I have not looked at yet.
Someone has been to this rodeo before.
I appreciate that. This is so the first one I did all by myself, and this is our second one together, and we have more than 3 times as
Oh
many as
god,
we
yeah,
did on
there's way
Sunday.
more people in this one.
Yeah, so we're getting better. So I appreciate the idea, and that is absolutely an excellent idea. Um, so another player has an idea for you. They'd like to see other players' Atlas bucks balance, like we can see their parcel counts and badges. I'm looking at taking another mayorship and like to key a key metric in determining their AB growth, and I'm going to tell you right now that's not going to happen. If my
Yeah,
Atlas
I think
bucks field,
I think I think
I have
that's
a war chest. I have
is-
2 of them actually.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, I don't mean to speak over you, Elise, but
no, it's fun.
no, I think from a lurking standpoint and a mayorship strategy standpoint, I think that would be a mistake. Um, so
Yeah,
and
you
and
never
and,
wanna know how
and
many
by
I
the
actually
way,
have.
I think if you're someone like I see Count Maximus in here or King of Queens. I don't know if he's in here, but like I don't think those guys want their AB balances public, and I don't think because then you could see what was their badge payout yesterday, and like it leads to a whole bunch of things that like I from a privacy standpoint and from a strategic standpoint, I just don't think that that really serves the best interests of all of the players.
A random question, has anyone had a survey that gave out more than 104 Atlas bucks?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know. That sounds like a pretty damn good payout, so congratulations. Um,
Right? What are your top 3 focuses at the moment that are being implemented next?
we are worker focused. To see if I remember and get them exactly right. We are focused on the next country. We are focused on rock paper scissors, and we are focused on the community feed.
You're making good headway on a couple of those at least.
Yeah.
Um, will we ever allow mayors to tax people in their city? That's a cute question. And they said
Tax?
asking for a friend.
Oh, tax. Well, I mean, I don't think so. Like, I mean, you guys are like uh, going back to like medieval times. This is a USA conceived game, and we believe in the powers of capitalism and democracy.
Where can I find information on implementing the AMP program? I don't think I saw anything on the website.
Yeah, I mean, we don't. The way in which we execute most of our AMP deals is we work with partners that have networks and the ability to aggregate lots of providers through a couple of simple technology integrations. And so, like onboarding one-off partners that aren't e-commerce. E-commerce is a little bit different, but if it's like a restaurant or a store, like in the physical world, that is actually we're not like equipped to handle that. Like we're a team of 30 people building all of these things that you guys enjoy. So if it is a restaurant, I can give you a link to a website that you can enroll in a program there. That might there'll be some hurdles you have to go through but we don't manage that process. So we don't specifically onboard any merchants except for a few e-commerce merchants. Obviously, excuse me, we've done it with our own merch store when we
Mhm.
added them to AMP. I think a lot of you guys know Rainbow Ultra. We've done that with his as he came to us and said, "Hey, could I do that?" And so, if you have an e-commerce platform with enough scale, because it's work for us to go do that, and work for you, by the way, because we've got to connect to Visa, Mastercard, and there's a whole bunch of other things that we need to do. But if there's scale and it can also benefit the community, and I think that's what Rainbow has been nice with the stuff that his store offers with Pokemon cards and other kinds of things. I think a lot of players have enjoyed buying those products and also enjoyed getting AB for buying those products.
I have some myself. Have you thought of making a friendship list? I'm assuming in game.
Oh, in game, I mean, listen, there probably is an idea that you guys are suggesting to us that we don't have on a list somewhere. So yes, that is a thing, but I'm not sure that that's where we're focused.
All right, let's see here. Um,
And I don't mean to say that, by the way, arrogantly. I'm just like,
right.
this is our job. This is our form of livelihood. This is how we take care of our families. So we think about this stuff all day long.
Since the implementation of the AI customer service, the service and response has been less than desirable. Are there plans to improve the help desk?
Um, well, I would say I'm sorry that you feel that, but objectively, if you look at the data, those numbers are like 512% better than they were. And I'm not just making that number up because I looked at it earlier today. 512% better than they were 60 days ago. So I'm sorry you might be an outlier, but it's actually gotten much better, and we are under on an
It's
average
faster
basis
too.
on an average basis under 1 day of inventory of tickets, and it's getting better and better. We actually introduced a new version of it this morning. So
Oh, nice. We're finally to the end of the chat, but now we have several people typing. Um, one of the
Shane
AE
said I should get some whiskey, but I did pour a glass of wine. But I'm going to have my first sip.
nice. One of the AE videos mentioned there would be an additional benefits for mayors coming. Can you speak to that?
Um, which video? I don't know. Like,
I I
I mean, am
remember
I
it was the podcast or something else, but
maybe?
I I don't know which one exactly. It wasn't the most recent one.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't speak specifically to what that would might be. But we're always thinking about stuff. I mean, we are trying to continue to drive beyond just the pure sake of competition, but to drive reasons why people would want titles. Obviously, the badge payouts is one of them. It's not the only one, but that's one of them. And so, but is there an explicit feature that's on our roadmap that we're working on for specifically mayors? If there is, I'm not aware of it.
Will there be more offer walls added like the big ones, lootably, wall for users to earn Atlas bucks?
I think we're going to continue to explore opportunities for players to earn more Atlas bucks. I don't think you're going to see us having competitive offer walls for the same type of thing. I think you're going to find us like we've got surveys and we've got arcade and we've got travel, and there are some other categories that down the road may make more sense. And our intent here is to get as many opportunities for players to earn Atlas bucks as possible.
So some players have seen the new addition to the term of service for tips. How will that work?
Um, More to come.
Huh? I didn't hear
I
it.
said more to come.
Oh, more to come, of course.
More to come. Yes,
Mhm.
we're not prepared to talk about that right
Okay.
now, but
Is there any help of
this is a huge compliment, by the way, to the community because we always marvel at this. That I mean, I think I made an update to the TOS. I mean, it was yesterday, but I
Yeah, it
don't
was
know. I think it was
yesterday.
like 11 a.m. Yeah, it was like 11 a.m. when I did it, and like within like 45 minutes, like Jeff, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing your username correctly. He's like posting stuff, and
Yeah,
I'm like, how?
I've got don't leak stuff in your TOS.
Well, I wasn't trying to. I wasn't trying to hide it, And that's not a mistake, I knew it was going to get found. Like the question was like, how soon is it going to get found, and how soon am I going to get a question asked about it?
Very quickly.
Um,
Very,
and
very
and I'm
quickly.
just like, I'm never like whatever expectation I has on what that um, time frame is on we get the first question. I'm always shocked about how fast it is.
Usually it's me, but I've been busy. Any help of
I
ever
mean,
moving
shit, that thing's
parcels?
like 400 pages long now. Like, I know it's all the languages, but yeah.
Yeah, but still, I read half of them. Any help of moving parcels on a limited basis?
Um, I'm I mean, at this point, I wouldn't say that's a big priority of ours. We've got 1% of parcels sold in the US. I think
We got some
there's
time.
plenty to buy.
Will there ever be a new tier of parcels, like above legendary, or making the special edition legendary make a little bit more money than the normal legendary?
I mean, again, I try not to answer ever or never questions. But if there was like a super rarity, which is really kind of what you're asking, I mean, that would require some fairly significant economic rebalancing, and I'm not sure that's what people want.
So this is a very good question that is asked frequently in chat. Can a couple who both play, who share cashing out accounts like banking or PayPal, cash out to those accounts, or would they have to have separate cash out methods?
Um,
I
without
believe it's
revealing,
separate cash out methods has been the standard response as mods have
yeah,
been
I
giving.
mean, listen, I try not to reveal all of our cheat detection methods. Particularly this one is like multi-account. Um, eh, I would say the cleanest way is to have individual accounts.
Cash out everything,
I
completely
just
individual. Don't cross your streams.
I just it makes it simpler, and you don't want to get caught in a net that doesn't mean that there's immediately going to be like bad things happen, but
hmm
when multiple accounts cash out to the same account, it is it is flagged as a very high risk account.
So I got some background. Apparently, what happened was Zev was trying to look something up in the terms of service, and it went down while they were trying to look.
Oh,
So it was like immediate. That's hilarious.
well, it was probably in the 1 minute it takes because it's a big file, like for it
To
to like
refresh.
the service. Yeah, wow, fascinating. All right,
Uh,
well, good job.
what about being able to put parcels up for sale through the website? Can you make it easier to tell what rarity the parcel for sale might be before buying?
um, I mean, I think that's a very reasonable request for the website. I just, we got a bunch of other stuff going on, so I just don't think that's probably going to happen anytime soon. And
And
that's
one
not
of
because it's not a good idea. It's just, you know, the totality of what we're working on, outside of a few surprise things occasionally, like this that we just did, is what's on the roadmap. So, like if you don't see it there, that means we're probably not working on it. Um,
In one of the previous podcast episodes, there was talk of possibility of getting badges from sporting events. Has there been any progress on this? Or are you able to speak more on it at this time?
really have much more to say. I think Sami was talking about that. But I don't really have much more to say. Is like, but if we have something that that we're going to do, then it's available, we will for sure market the hell out of it, and you'll hear about it.
Is there going to be a new tier of badges past 25%?
Um, so on our roadmap, there is that, and so at some point we will get to that.
Some point this year, possibly, since it's this year's roadmap? Maybe.
Yeah, yeah. I would just say like that's not the most pressing thing. Um, but
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 it's on
but but
there.
we recognize the, especially now that excuse me, badges are included as for completing the free side of the challenge ladder. We are looking for ways in which to kind of encourage that. But the number of players that own 101 badges, it's a very small percentage. So it has yet to be proven to be a significant inhibitor to badge sales.
Are there any plans in the future of creating avatar outfits so so we're not all just so we are all not just astronauts? So
Yeah, I
that's
mean, I
on
would say,
customizations on there too, right?
yeah, I would say customization broadly, and then all kinds of fun stuff, things around land, and we've got a very long list of ideas that we have around that, and some will get executed, some won't. I don't want to comment too more because I just like some of this stuff is really fun, and you're gonna love it. And all I would say is there's an inventory tab on the navigation for a reason. It's kind of empty now outside of LPUs. So think about consumables and other kinds of things out there, or things that you might want to do to your land. We've got a whole set of really, really cool things that we've got. That's not just ideas and sketches on a piece of paper. Some things actually exist in code. So
And I think Count Maximus must be a glutton for punishment because his question is, can I convert all of my parcels back to AB and start all over again.
um, um, no. Well, I mean, the bigger question is like, why would you want to do that? But maybe you want to go to Utah and California. I guess Utah is probably, Arturius is out there, but like, but
On his when he was placing all those in a day, I remember he was so tired. Oh, I can't see. I wouldn't want to do that.
yes.
112 tired me out, and I had to take breaks. I don't know how I did 3,000 plus in a day.
For like
Um,
multiple days in a row. I mean, these guys are
exactly.
machines.
Let's see here. Joe and SSC Kelly are hopping in there for me. Let's see here. What are the longer term goals you have? Are there anything on being able to build on our land, possibly making more Atlas bucks or anything like this? Maybe building virtual houses or businesses on our land?
I mean, those are all very specific things, and so I'm probably not going to address any of those specifics. But the goal of the game is to create. It's a layer on top. It's a virtual layer on top of the real world that is an economy that allows you to earn virtual rent, and we do that through the mechanism of Atlas bucks and buying land. And there's a whole host of really fun things that we have underway. Some further along than others that continue to build upon that like core idea. And I think what you're going to see is stuff that leans into things around personalization, leans into things around more utility and more engagement and spending more time in the app. And so I think, the utility of the app and the reason why you come into the app, it's going to become a little bit more than just, hey, come in and play a mini game, take a survey, download a game in arcade and boost your rent. Like it's, the goal here is to make it much more of a complete experience. So actually spend a little bit more time in the day and it doesn't feel, so ad dominant as far as the reason why you come into the game. And so that really is the goal. And at the same time, obviously, you're earning Atlas bucks and earning rent.
So all of us mods want to see you answer this question. Here we go.
Oh,
Are there any plans about adding more uses for the diamonds? Also, have you thought about the idea of adding different parcel upgrades besides just from LPUs, such as common to rare or epic? Really, we specifically want that first part answered.
the diamond one. Well, that one's easy. I'm consistent. Yeah, at this point, there are no plans, and I can't imagine having any plans to do anything more than what it is. Where you will see things around diamonds is less around utility of the diamonds, but actually what shows up on the wheel. That's where you might see some changes over time. The second part is, well, our system is built so that we could actually assign the rarity for an LPU to whatever we want. It's something we set up when we set up the sales. So technically speaking, we could do it today. Strategically speaking, we'd have to really think about that. It's not right now on anyone's mind, and we'd have to do some work in building out a separate shop for that. And there's a whole bunch of things there that like we'd have to think through. But for us, so far LPUs has been a fairly significant success. I can't tell you how many we sold. I mean, I can, but I'm not going to. But we've sold a lot, and it's always kind of cool to see at the beginning of each month when they introduce the new ones, like just that line. Because I look at the data every day, the line goes up, and then it levels off, and then towards the end of the month it goes up again, and it's like a little happy face, but it's like always going up, which is nice.
Is there any
And
possibility?
we've got some new art. We're actually
Oh.
We're uploading some of it tomorrow as a team.
Exciting.
So we have a new artist that's helping us. So I think this new stuff is going to be like very fresh.
Is there any possibility of accessing the account via laptop or desktop? I think they mean more than just the app website you guys have.
Oh, I mean, listen, I think Windows and Apple have ways in which you can kind of mirror your phone. I know my computer does. So, but if you're looking for like a full screen experience, viewing the mobile app, I mean, that's not actually how the app works. So, I think the answer is probably no.
All right, so I've got a couple of requests. When can we trade diamonds for Atlas bucks?
Um, I'm getting this was never. And you know
All
how
right,
resistant I am to evers and nevers. This is one of them.
right. Let's see
And,
here.
and I don't mean, let me just like, I don't want to be dismissive of that because I joke about it because it's, I get this question. Probably it's the most common question I get.
It's one of the most common ones, yes.
But so when you think about the game itself, we actually have two currencies, right? We have virtual rent, which is a currency, and then we have Atlas bucks, which is a currency. And there's a tremendous amount of math and science into actually balancing the game economy. Even when we go and do the challenge ladder, or we go and do a boost table for a new country. We just did Italy earlier this week. When we do all of that, like there's lots of math to make sure that the economy is balanced. And the reason why we want to make sure the economy is balanced is the game is sustainable. We can pay our team. We can continue to pay out everybody. And this thing is going to, continue to do everything that we want it to do. And if you're not sensitive to that or you're not aware of that, you can really get yourself in a pickle. And I think a bunch of players who've experienced games who've fully nerfed things or fully devalued things, it's because they got the economy balance wrong. And so introducing a third currency is an exponential level of complexity. And that third currency, which is a diamond, is also a real challenge because it has no monetization. So all it is cost. And so adding that to an A/B conversion, probably the only way to make that economy balance is we'd have to devalue everything in either A/B or virtual rent. So what does that mean? That means reduce boosts. That means reduce payouts in A/B for everything that you've expected. It's just to give utility to diamonds. And I don't know. I don't think if you were forced to make that decision as a player, that you would ever choose to do that. So it kind of just doesn't make any sense. So just accept it for what it is. It's just like a fun little thing that gives me free AB every day, an average of 1.9 AB a day. And cool. Just, it is what it is.
Are we working on the website to where we don't have to keep logging in? Because it does frequently log you out while you're using maps or whatever.
Yeah, that's just a security setting. That's us looking after, because it's pretty easy to go in there and make a purchase. I mean, you can buy $100,000 pack from the website. So now you got to call me too, but
Um, oh, hang on a second. We've, okay. So, someone was suggesting playing it on the computer, wanting to know how they could play on the computer, but they got a term of service warning. So someone else is reminding them the emulators are against the rules.
yes.
Yes, I had to go back to see where that started. Will there ever be diamonds with extra value that spawn, for example, a blue diamond worth 1, a pink diamond worth 2, a green diamond worth 5, for example, like mega diamonds or scavenger hunt?
I mean, again, that's like an ever or never question, which I don't like to really to answer, but I would say that would be unlikely because those
Right.
things are spawned randomly. So like, if you just think about it, like, okay, what if we spawned every 10th diamond was a mega diamond?
That'd
Like,
be really neat, but
yeah, but then like, what if you can't get to it?
exactly. Oh, it'd be so frustrating. I
Right?
can't.
So I just
Like,
like,
oh, this other
just
side of the
thinking
fence.
about like dealing with support issues around that. It's just like, like, what problem are we solving with that? We want to like our goal here is not to make diamonds the most fun part of this game. Our goal here is to make the act of owning land and earning AB and competing, like that's supposed to be the most fun part of the game.
Can we ever get the ability to make catching the diamonds a little easier? For example, pressing the circle and it'll grab all the diamonds within it. So if you're a passenger, I saw that. Um, you can grab the diamonds quickly.
um, Probably not. I mean,
Um,
listen, like when I'm riding the car and it's over 90 miles an hour, it's hard to get a
it's very
diamond.
hard to catch those. Yeah.
Hard to get a diamond.
Someone was on a road trip this past weekend. in the US, and AE kept changing the rent boost from 7x tier to 20x tier and changing back and forth after they reloaded the app. Is it a bug or is something else happening?
Yeah, I mean, usually what happens is, and I don't know where you were in the country, but when we lose a cellular connection or a data signal to locate you in GPS, we have a fallback. And that fallback is kind of what our standard kind of UK/international settings are. So that's likely what's happening. Why that's switching is all of a sudden like we don't see your GPS, so therefore we default to essentially a lower boost table versus what you might get in the US. But again, I don't know where you were nor how many parcels you own, so it's hard for me to specifically answer your question. That's usually the case when you see that switch.
Yeah, it thinks I'm in Canada or somewhere completely random. Um,
Well, it just
is
assumes that you're somewhere, but you're not in the US.
right.
Yeah.
Is there a way to fix the error when collecting diamonds? Sometimes we lose out on diamonds even if it's in the circle because it says there is an error or Wi-Fi error or you've already collected this diamond.
Um, I
I
mean,
get it
I would
myself.
say, I would say, I think I probably had it once or twice too. I mean, I would say like take a screenshot, please submit a Tor support ticket. And I'm not trying to like deflect this. The reason why we ask you to submit a support ticket, the reason why we ask you to do a screenshot is because number one, we know who you are because the vast majority of you guys in the Discord and the Reddit for sure, actually have no idea who you are. So we can even go back and look at an account and investigate what the hell happened. We don't know when it happened. And so what it allows us to do when you submit a support ticket with a screenshot, it allows us to then go back and identify and try to, as much as possible, look at that session so that we can replicate it and understand it. And then that's how we can actually go and diagnose it. And going into support with screenshots also appends things like your player ID and your account stuff so that we can properly document that and investigate it. And then usually what we do is, we have a tendency not to just look at one reported
Mhm.
issue. We wait till we get an inventory of them. That's enough to go make it worthwhile for our engineering team to go dig into. So we're pretty methodical about this. And so it's not us trying to not answer your questions. It's like, no, let's get it to the people that gather the data, that know how to do this so that we can prepare our engineering team to go investigate if it actually is a meaningful issue. Now, listen, a game this complex with this much code that's this old, while we refactor things all the time, like there are always going to be what they call edge cases. And I'm not trying to also dismiss that. Help us find that. But in some cases, when we find an issue, we also make the decision not to fix it because it just happens so infrequently.
Are we planning on adding power-ups to the game? If so, do you have any in mind?
Yeah, it's a thing called a boost.
The boost, yes. Um, so a player wanted to know how often are we doing these meetings usually? This is the first one they've been notified of. So I know these
Um,
are new for us,
I
so we
mean,
don't have a quite schedule yet.
yeah, I mean, I've done these a couple of times. I mean, the reason why, and we did one on Sunday night too after the mini game is I have a tendency to like to do it around change, just because people have lots of questions. I would say, um, I would say we probably aren't going to do this like on a weekly or maybe even a monthly basis. Maybe monthly. I don't know. We'll have to think through what's the right strategy. Um, for that, just because in some cases like these questions have like been answered many many times, and so just getting
Is
on.
my camera glitching or is it
Yeah,
just
just
me?
for a second. Just for a second. But in some
Right.
cases, these are questions that are kind of, well,
Okay.
not
Hang
all
on.
of them.
All right, I'm still here, but it's just
Okay.
oh, it's getting warm. That's fun.
Um, so, so I'm not sure we're going to do it on a like a really frequent basis, because if it ends up just being questions about diamonds all day long, and I'm not just picking on that one, but
Mm,
like that's been answered so many times that I'm not sure it's a good use of everyone's time to go do this weekly.
try this again. Um, yeah, I think I burned out my camera. That's fun. Um, yes, I agree. So we probably won't be doing them weekly, but we will try to do
Yeah.
these
I
not
mean,
necessarily
I'd say
often, but
around like new features and changes in the game is usually the best time to do it. And even I know there's a bunch of questions about not the changes, but um, but but that's really kind of when interest is peaked, because also, I see Pharaoh here and other kind of creators in the community. Like they talk about this stuff all the time too. So you can always go see that. If you have these kinds of questions, use the Discord, use Reddit, use our FAQs. Don't use Facebook.
Yeah, Joe, you're right. That was a new camera too. We burned it
Oh
out over the
man.
past couple of days. It was great. Well, I didn't spend a lot on it, to be fair, but yes, I, I definitely killed it. That's fun. All right. Um, okay. So I'm going to give it a couple more minutes because for me this is extremely late.
Yes.
Um,
At least we're doing this.
yes. Let's see here. Um, any other questions? I know the players are giving each other suggestions for the diamonds and how to fix that issue.
Oh.
Oh, I would love that, Nick. Nick wants to know if they can have 10 million AB. That would be great. I would take
Yeah.
over the entire state.
Yes, you can.
Oh, yes. So you've got a wonderful pack for sale on that, don't you?
I have deals. I have deals
Yes.
available. I can, DM me. We can work something out.
Several people are typing. Can I have 100 AB? I'll give you a diamond. That one's not going to work. Nice try, though. We got 3 people typing, 4 people typing. All right. First one to ask a question gets it in. There we go. Okay. So Landmark talk is hated. We've been told to save our AB for them, and I have 55,000. Is that number right? Yeah, burning a hole in my account. I just want reassurance in them that um, they are actually coming and will be very soon-ish. I personally would lay that down as parcels, but
They are coming. They are coming. I'm not gonna, and I know it's been said it's coming soon since November of 2021, but they are coming. To give you guidance on should you save or continue to save and when it's going to show up. I mean, it's going to show up when we're done and it's ready. We are working on it. There are things ahead of it. It is a very big feature, and it's going to be awesome. But I wouldn't. If you think it's going to show up in the next, let me say this: if you think it's going to show up in the next 3 months, I would say you're being too aggressive in your timing. But I think the likelihood that it launches this year is very, very, very high, like
all right.
extraordinarily high. I wouldn't have put it on that list if we didn't believe that that's what we wanted to do.
Right. All right. Yeah, no problem. Glad we could answer that question for you. All right. So since it's on my end 10:05 and I've got a little one who's desperately trying to stay up while mommy is doing this, I should probably end. If you guys want to continue, another mod will have to take over. That's up to you guys on how late you want to stay up. Do I have another mod, Peacekeeper volunteer?
Yeah, I think why don't we just like put a
All
pin in
right
it?
then.
60
Yeah.
minutes is good.
Yes. And
Listen, it's been 30 minutes since we've had a free minigame question. So that means
so
everybody's good. That means no more. Everybody's good.
I'm getting a lot of. I'm not it.
Yeah.
SSC is here, but yes, it is getting kind of late for everybody.
Listen, I
So
get it. It's like, I'm lucky to be on the West Coast and the sun is still up. But you
yeah, that's
guys,
very not up over here.
we appreciate everything. We appreciate you guys, giving us the time and obviously your trust in us to help kind of steward this game. I know sometimes change is hard, but we strongly believe that this change is the right thing for all players. And we're excited to see what happens, and we're excited to see it grow, and we're excited to see everybody prosper.
And we will try to do this again and put it on the Discord calendar that we have reactivated um, for our next time we do something like this.
And thank you, Annalise, for doing all of this and all the other Peacekeeper mods that that are incredibly helpful. We appreciate it very much.
Yes. And I greatly appreciate them moderating the chat and trying to get things answered before I can get to them because I was really lagging behind. All right. And I will end the chat and thank you so much. And who has this recorded so I can catch the beginning of it? Will it be on AE's YouTube? That's a great question.
It won't be on ours, but I believe, because he asked me, I believe Pharaoh is recording this. So,
Mhm. And Casey said I need Atlas bucks for doing a good job. It's in the chat. There's proof.
well, I just got to give your 10 million away. So sorry, I guess I have to.
Ah, dang.
No. I think that was Nick, right? Who wanted the.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, Nick. Sorry, I was about to send you the 10 million, but I guess I have to send it to Annalise now.
All right. Oh, thank you everybody, and we'll talk to you next AMA.
Yep. We'll see you guys.